All right, we are live on YouTube and Twitch. Okay. Ace, how you doing? You're first, and thanks for the heartbeat. Pikachu, hi. Can't argue with that, Ace. Good to see you. Thanks for the share. All right. You shouldn't rely on your own mind. So that's just another example of religion telling you what to think, not how to think. Yeah, I think I'm good. I'm going to pass on that. Interesting. It's like my page froze. So let's bring it back. Being an atheist just simply means not believing in God, not believing in any gods. That's it. You know, I think at some point I'm going to have to log in as All Righteous Atheist. Today's the day. So I don't know if you guys ever saw the TikTok that went viral about the protester in Minneapolis who who called the black ICE agent a house N word, and how it was like one of the comments I was thinking of was, did we just see the first example of two wrongs making a right? And yes, very conflicting. And oh, Becca, with the threat, we have our first threat of the day, which means there's no evidence of this God. So you might as well just threaten me with monsters under my bed. People have no right to say there is no God. Well, why don't you come up, Becca, and tell us what the evidence is? But back to the that video. So as I was saying, it was a video of a protester in Minneapolis. I'm not sure what their designation was, but safe to say they were not black. And they said to a black ICE agent, called him a house N-word. And and so I was thinking, yeah, it was an example of two wrongs making a right. Like our first ever example of that, which I thought was funny. In the comments, hey, Liquid 826, good to see you. And we had something like that in the Discord. We've had a couple instances of it in the Discord. And I have to say, not everything's black and white. So it's just really funny. But welcome in. Happy Wednesday. Don't know if everyone has seen that video, but it's a very funny video. I did repost it. So we only asked for, well, I can tell you this is kind of the same argument as there are no atheists in foxholes. And I can tell you for a fact that that's wrong, because I have family who've served in the military, and more than one has been in a foxhole, and neither of them prayed to a God. So just want to point that out. So that's pretty bad evidence. If that's the best evidence you got, then that's pretty bad. And so Becca's just coming with more threats, which means Becca has no evidence, zero. And no prophecies of Jesus, 0 out of 351. So sum up, what are your thoughts on being an atheist? I don't believe there are any gods that exist. That's it. That's what an atheist is. Creation, look around you. The trees argument, another bad argument. So if there is a God, the funny thing is that if there was a God, and this God is supposed to be all powerful, all knowing, we would all just know. There would just be no doubt. But then there's the more mental gymnastics. Well, it requires faith and all this other bullshit. But so you're not open to the possibility of a God being. Never said that. Didn't say there was no possibility. A God is possible. I doubt it's your God, though. I doubt it's the one you believe in. Seriously doubt that. Whichever one you believe in. Seriously doubt it's your God. If it is a God, it's going to be a God that none of us could have anticipated. So if you are a Christian and you are at least 18, come on up, request up, and let's talk about your evidence of the Bible being 100% true. Well, Charlie's Angels, yes, I have. And if you want to know to what extent I have read the Bible in its entirety, come on up and we could talk about it. I can't say the Bible's 100% true, but I can prove there's a God. Well, that's not the topic today. So the topic is, what's your evidence that the Bible is 100% true? That's the topic. Although what I think God sent me forever is you're going to probably rely on testimony, which if you're going to rely on testimony, bad reason, bad evidence, not evidence, because that if we're going to take testimony, that means we have to take testimony from every religion. That means every religion is true. Every God exists because everybody has testimony of their God. Don't think so, pretty girl. There are a lot of things in the Bible that don't point to things that are true. So that's just like me saying, I have an invisible fire-breathing dragon in my garage, right next to my levitating Lamborghini. Request up and we can talk about what's not true. I'll ask you about it. Formless, you believe me? How you doing, friend, by the way? See? And right next to the invisible jet, Wonder Woman. See, and it's only on loan to me. Wonder Woman wants it back by Sunday. So I can't claim that as mine. So come on up. Let's talk about it. And if you're on YouTube and you want to talk, you can use the link that's right up above my head to request up. So I'm taking both folks on YouTube and TikTok, but no guests yet. So interesting. So people just want to hide in the comments today. Well, that's okay. I'll talk to you in the comments. It's fine with me. I'm good with that. But, and there he is, Pseudo. How you doing? It's good to see you as always. Oh, somebody said I have fulfilled multiple prophecies. Yeah, I have too, actually, David. I rode a donkey. So that makes me a king, just like Jesus. I'm the king of Israel. I fulfilled the prophecy. So let's answer the question. What's your best evidence the Bible is 100% true? It's like you have no hope if you don't believe, and that's sad. Why do you think I have no hope? I have lots of hope. I'm actually way more optimistic than I was when I was a Christian. You know what's interesting is that I was fucking miserable as a Christian. I just didn't know it. Oh, Dan, you're the king of Israel. Dan Blackroyd is the king of Israel. I'm the king of Israel. I don't have hope for my hairline either. Now, how's that evidence that the Bible is 100% true? So we go meta when we have no evidence. My hairline, yeah. And look at that. I'm balding on top. Look at that. Look how thin that is up there. So, you know what? You could demonstrate that God is real. Just pray for my hairline to come back. Look at that. Just pray for it to come back right now. Boom. Let's see the transformation. So, make mine a 5 head to like a 3 head. See, I got a 5 head, right? So make it a 3 head. I'm not going to request that because I agree. Fair enough. Not how it works. Not according to John 14, 12 through 14. Not according to Matthew. So we have some people who have not read their Bible. Or they're just drinking the Kool-Aid and they're in the middle of cope. It's one or the other. All right, we got a guest. Let's see who it is. Now, if you have requested up, you have to be 18. That is a TikTok terms of service rule, not mine. But my rule is you have to be a believer in Christianity because we are talking about the Bible. And please have evidence that the Bible is 100% true. So let's take up our first guest. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, man?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. So, how old are you?
I am 25.
All right.
Yeah, I'm 25. Holy
All
cow.
right. Okay. And I take it you're a Christian. Fair to say?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. What's your best evidence that the Bible is 100% true?
Oh man, I think that just the fact that good and evil exist.
The good and evil exist?
Yeah, like objectively outside of our opinions.
How does that demonstrate the Bible?
Well,
not sure how that demonstrates that.
Without a God to give us those objective morals, they wouldn't exist. Or they would be subjective, which I think most atheists are. Yeah.
Interesting.
It would just be up for like, because the universe wouldn't care about morals or right and wrong, right? Space dust wouldn't care.
Yeah, the universe doesn't have a mind, so yeah, of course it wouldn't care.
Yeah, so if there's not a foundation to give us those objective morals, which I believe exist, it would, I mean, I think we're on the same page about that.
Yeah, definitely on the same page, although I am an objective moral realist. So how did that happen if I don't believe in God?
I don't know. I think you'd have to explain it. I don't think it does exist, really.
You don't think so? Without a God, it doesn't exist?
I don't.
Well, see,
I don't think you have any objective foundation for morals without God.
You don't think so? Well, see, the interesting thing now, well, let's define objective. What do you take objective to mean? Because we may have a different definition of what objective is.
I think for these conversations, normally like mind independent or dependent is the one that's used.
Mind independent, yeah. Mind independent,
I also would be okay with just saying, I guess you could say like absolute morals or absolute right and wrong. It's kind of more so what I mean by objective, less about coming from a mind. It's that it exists factually, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it exists factually. And facts are independent of minds as well, right? Like it's true no matter what, right?
Yep.
And like 1 + 1 = 2. That would be that would be an objective fact. Agreed?
Right.
Yeah. And that's mind independent. So if you base your morality on God, how is that mind independent? Because isn't that dependent on the mind of God?
No, I think the morals that God has given us to follow, the framework, didn't just come from God's mind. It came from his nature, right? His essence. You could maybe say he used his mind to formulate thoughts, to inspire scripture, which is what we have, like maybe. But I actually wouldn't have a problem saying that morals are subjective in the sense that it involved God's mind, which is where I would try and leave that semantic argument and go more into, I don't even know what the word is, absolute morals or like factual, objective. I don't even know.
Okay, that's fair. I hear that. So, because I would hold that if you subscribe to God being the foundation of morals, I would say that would be subjective and relative. But you did ask me like how I ground my morality, and as an objective moral realist, I subscribe to the principle of generic consistency, which means that morals are the same across the board, right? In essence,
right?
And that's based on using the laws of logic. So the laws of logic are the law of identity, the law of non-contradiction, the law of excluded middle. And so essentially, if and the pillars that we use for this is freedom and well-being. I hold that any moral agent, and that is a being that can make moral decisions and take moral responsibility for said decisions, is entitled to the utmost freedom and well-being. the reason being is that in order to make these moral decisions, this individual must have freedom and well-being to make these moral decisions, right? It's very close to what Christians consider free will. Very, very close, but with some nuances. Okay. All right. So you agree with free will, right?
No, not in the same sense that most Christians would probably.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Now, do you believe that we have free will?
I'm a compatibilist.
You're a compatibilist? Okay. Mm-hmm. Is there some sense of free will, or is it yeah, as a compatibilist, it's like a hybrid between determinism and free will? It's somewhere in there? It's somewhere in the middle?
That they can exist together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Free will exists in my mind in the sense that anytime I do something, I willingly do it. It's not me saying, no, I don't want to do this, but God has like determined me to, so I have to. I don't think that's the case. When I go to Chipotle, it's because I want to, even though God has already determined that. There is some capacity for mystery in there that I appeal to.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't want to get lost in the weeds in that. And that's fine. So what I hold is that if all moral agents are entitled to the utmost freedom and well-being, and I hold that it is objectively immoral to infringe upon a moral agent's freedom and well-being without justification. So, like, for example, but
those are both subjective things, to be clear, right?
Those are subjective things, you think?
Yeah, like the first point you made about people inherently having a right. What's the foundation for that that's objective? Because that's kind of just an opinion.
Because like I said, you can't, without freedom and well-being, you can't make moral decisions. You can't do things in your life in order to further your life. So like, for example, so a person without freedom, like a prisoner, what kind of thing, how can they further their life? Like, in the same degree that a person who is out of prison can?
I would actually just say by following Christ. I think you can do that
following
as a
Christ.
Yeah, you can better your life in that.
No, furthering their life. So how can they pursue things like pursue things in their life if they're in prison? Like get a better job,
Oh yeah, I agree. They couldn't really pursue like material things in the same way.
Because they lack freedom, right? Well, not even necessarily material things. Like they have limited access to education, they have limited access to employment. They can get married, but they can't be intimate really with a partner. They can't see this partner every day. So there's just restrictions on everything they do. You would agree with that, right?
I think. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think we might disagree. You see those as inherent rights. I see them as privileges.
As privileges? Okay.
Yeah.
So point out to me a situation in which a person has had their freedom and well-being removed and they've flourished.
And they flourished?
Yeah.
I would say someone who has, and I don't have any like specific names. I'm sure I could find, actually, sheesh, holy cow. You could even argue Dahmer, for example, who lived a horrific, evil life. If what they say about him is true, if he really did come to Christ, I would say that's the ultimate thing you can do to flourish is to find Christ. And
wait, Schmammer, who died in prison, who got smashed with a barbell, flourished?
Yeah,
that's what you call flourishing?
No, I was explaining what I consider flourishing. I think the ultimate thing you can do to quote flourish is to find Christ. Okay. Which I think they say he did. So in that sense, yeah.
Okay. So what do you mean by flourish then? Because it sounds like we're just redefining words here. So what does flourish mean to you?
Well, let me find the dictionary definition. I just mean to, let's see how similar this is to what the dictionary says. I'm thinking it to be doing something that ultimately betters your life. Maybe that's too vague. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty vague. It's not what it means.
So flourish would be develop in a healthy or vigorous way.
Especially as a result of a particularly favorable environment. So are you telling me that Schmammer was in a favorable environment to flourish by taking a barbell to the head multiple times? That doesn't sound like
Um,
flourishing to me.
Taking that kind of zoomed in perspective, absolutely not. But
There we go.
viewing
Doesn't
it
fit the definition.
eternally, yes. Viewing it eternally, it absolutely
Yeah,
does.
I don't see anything in this dictionary definition about it being eternally.
Well, I know. I'm saying if you look at someone's eternal life
Right.
and then you try and analyze it versus just zooming into the last day or week of their life in
Yeah.
prison,
Okay. So if we
you'll come to
redefine
a
it,
different conclusion.
if we redefine the term flourish, then it
No.
fits what
Using
you're
the same
saying.
definition.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think it's the same definition because are you telling me that Dahmer is a living organism? Because it says here a
Yeah.
person, animal, or other living organism. He's clearly not alive. He's dead.
Okay. Well, yeah. If I just go by this strict dictionary definition, I would actually agree with you.
Okay.
Dahmer's life on Earth was not flourishing in
Okay.
prison.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect.
His finite life here on Earth was not flourishing.
Okay. So if we, like I said, if we redefine things, then it fits what you're trying to say. But if we go by the dictionary definition, not flourishing. So I'm going by the dictionary definition. Would you agree that people who were slaves, they had their freedom and well-being taken away?
It depends.
Depends on.
Maybe in some cases, yes. In some cases, maybe not.
What's an example of a slave who flourished
Um,
while in captivity?
like just a hypothetical or a specific.
No, a real life example of
Oh,
a slave
I
who
don't know.
flourished in like captivity.
I don't know any real life examples of slaves, so I wouldn't be able to give you one. But I could
Okay.
like give you a hypothetical of how there could have been one.
Could have, yeah. Yet
Yeah.
we have many. Well, if that's the case, why wouldn't? I mean, would you want to be a slave?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
But,
Well, I mean,
in some cases, I might prefer to be a slave. Yes.
okay. Well, give us an example. Why would you?
Yeah.
prefer
If
to
I
be a
had
slave?
if I was like being abused by my family, and I had the opportunity to go be a slave in a loving family instead of being abused, I would probably prefer to be a slave. Like
How would
if my parents were abusing me and someone said, "Hey, you can come and like I'll own you as property, but I'm going to treat you up to every moral standard that's ever existed perfectly," I would say, "Heck yeah, sign me up. I'd much rather be a slave than be
Okay.
abused."
Okay. Okay.
Would you not?
That
Would you
that
not?
that seems no. I would not want to be owned as property in
You'd rather
under
be
no
abused.
circumstance. Under no
You'd rather be
circumstance.
abused for your entire life.
Well,
than
that's
be
assuming
treated well.
that's assuming that there's only a dichotomous choice. Like we're not
Yeah,
we're
it's
not
hypothetical.
we're not yeah. So, but that's not reality, right? Because a person who is abused by their family, they have other choices except besides becoming a slave for another family, right? But I
Ooh,
mean, if you're saying that's
I
the
disagree
only,
with that.
mm,
You think
totally agree
everyone
with that.
who's being abused right now has a way out? That's
Not
tough.
yeah, I would say that. They may not realize
You
it.
would?
They may not realize it. They may not
Like a child being trafficked right now, you think has a way out that they don't realize?
what I'm saying is as an adult, they they do. And a child is not a moral
adult- okay.
agent. So
An
we're
adult
talking
woman being
about
trafficked
well, hold on.
has a way out, she just doesn't know.
We're talking about moral agents here,
Crazy,
right?
bro.
We're talking about
Crazy.
moral agents. So what we're talking about is moral agency. And a person, and you said a person being abused, and you shifted to a slave. So you're kind of shifting terms here. So
No,
when I said
I gave you
I
an
said a
example
person
of
who's in
how being a
an
slave could be
abusive
tough.
family, right? That's
Yeah.
what you started with. So that's by no means a slave. So a person who is in a because see the thing is I was in an abusive family, and I didn't know it, but I did have choices at the time. And because I was in my trauma, I didn't, and I was actually offered choices. So I don't agree with you at all. And now that's not the case for everybody, because there are extreme cases in which families abuse others by confining them, for example. But again, we're talking about moral agents, and children are not considered moral agents. They're potential moral
Children,
agents.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
Okay.
What do you
So
mean they're not
are
moral?
you
Like they're
telling me
not
that
capable
are you
of,
telling me that a child who steals candy can go to prison for that?
uh, maybe not, but you can do
Okay.
something
So they're
that's
not a moral
immoral and
agent.
not go to prison.
Well, they're not a moral
It's
agent
possible.
because
It's possible to do
it's
something.
the ability to take moral responsibility for their actions. So are you telling me then if a 5-year-old steals and then immediately dies, where do they go? Heaven or hell?
How old's the child?
I said 5-year-old.
Oh, 5-year-old. I believe heaven.
Heaven. Okay. Even if after they steal and they immediately die.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So they're not a moral agent.
I
Very
disagree,
simple.
and I can tell you why.
Okay. But you said they go to heaven, right? Do you,
Right.
if you commit a sin, if you steal as an adult, do you go to heaven if you immediately die?
Not if you haven't accepted Jesus. No.
Okay. So again, and why is that? So we have the age of consent,
Because
right?
I believe that there is an age, and I don't know that it's the same for every person, but where a human being has the ability to conceive the gospel. And if they have not reached that mental capacity, they wouldn't be held accountable for their sins in the same way an adult would, although their actions would still have been considered immoral.
Okay. And so it's simply because they can't conceive of God,
The gospel.
the
Yeah,
gospel. They don't
like
understand,
you
so they can't understand the gospel. And
yeah, like some
what
5-year-olds.
is the difference of that? Why is that different?
Well, because some 5-year-olds wouldn't be able to understand um, the gospel of God sending Jesus to be born of a virgin. They don't even know what a virgin is, first of all. So you can start
Okay.
there.
Would they
Like
understand
there's
stealing?
yeah. I
They
think
would understand
I
stealing.
think
5-year-olds understand stealing?
some of them probably, yeah,
Okay. Some would
yeah. It
probably.
depends on if
And
they've been taught or not.
okay. All right. And so if we find research that indicates otherwise, where do you get your information from?
If we find research that indicates otherwise, where do I get my information from?
Yeah, if we find psychological research that determines that young children like that don't really understand the implications of their, quote unquote wrongdoings, like stealing.
Oh, gotcha.
They don't fully. Yeah. So
Implication.
where are you getting your facts from? How do you know that this is true?
Experience from telling a 5-year-old that taking a toy from another 5-year-old, right, or like taking it from their house and bringing it to yours is wrong, and then having the child understand me would be my experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't think a 5-year-old is capable of understanding why you don't take a toy from their friend's house to their own house?
Yeah. They do understand that
Right.
stealing is wrong by age 5. Okay.
Okay, great.
So
I
does
agree.
that mean then that they understand all the implications of their actions?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay, of course not. So they don't fully understand everything that they're doing wrong, right? Just like they wouldn't fully
In
understand the
regards
gospel.
in regards to the implications, I don't even think grown adults oftentimes know the full implications of what they're doing wrong.
I would agree
For
with that.
example,
But they should, right?
uh, I mean, should's a pretty loose term there.
So you're saying that just say a 30-year-old, they should be excused from like ignorance as an excuse?
No, of course not. But just because you don't understand all of the consequences and repercussions of something does not mean you shouldn't be held accountable for it. I still think you should.
Okay. And so should 5-year-olds go to prison for stealing?
No, of course not.
Okay. All right. So we have different levels of like punishments for people depending on
Correct.
how they understand things, right? Just like you
Uh,
said,
Yeah,
they
in some
have
sense, yeah.
they wouldn't fully grasp the gospel. So
Right.
you don't expect them to fully understand what the gospel is. Just like they don't fully understand. They don't have a full grasp on morality. So you don't expect them to fully understand morality. So we don't give them full consequences, right?
Correct. Yeah. When
Gotcha.
compared to an adult making the same decisions. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Gotcha.
Excuse
So,
me.
all right. So then I guess we can kind of go back to what you were saying about, if God is, if morality is in God's essence, does that mean
Mhm.
that everything that God does and commands and says is morally good?
For him to do that, yes. I think a
For
lot
him
of
to do
things
that.
that God, yeah, and I'd clarify that by saying if I were to try and give some of the same commands that God has given in the
Mhm.
Old Testament, for example, it would not be moral for me to do so because I don't have the position of authority God does for the reason of human beings are guilty before God, not guilty before other humans.
So might makes right.
No, no,
No,
not at all.
not at all.
No,
Well,
it's
okay,
not
but
just it's not just about him
what
being
gives
mighty. It's about humans being. Well, I guess we'd have to talk about a specific.
what God, well,
Is there something
what gives
specific you
God
want to
the
get into?
authority? What gives God the authority?
Humans being guilty before him, and
What,
it being
but
just
what
for
gives
God to enact.
what, but what does that matter? Because you could be guilty before the authority of Thailand's government, but if you don't live in Thailand, you've never been there, does that mean that Thailand has the right to come over to where you live and arrest you and take you back to Thailand? If you've never set foot on there, you've broken a law according to their laws. Do they have the right to come over and take you away and put you in prison?
No, because you haven't broken a law within their jurisdiction of laws.
Yeah, so
That
they
would be
have no
silly.
authority over you. So what gives God the authority?
You are guilty before him for what you've done.
Okay, but
The same
again,
way,
if
if
you're
you were
guilty before
guilty
the
of breaking,
but if you're guilty before the government of Thailand, but you've never been there,
uh-huh,
that
you wouldn't be
doesn't
guilty
give
before
them the
them.
but that doesn't give them the right to come to wherever you live and take you away. They
Okay,
have no
how can you be
authority over you.
guilty? How can you be
So
guilty
guilt
before
doesn't
Thailand if you've never been there?
well, that's what I mean is that their authority only reaches past their borders. So being
Correct.
guilty of somebody's law doesn't mean that they have authority over you, right?
It
So
means
what
they would
gives
be
so
just in.
yeah,
Well,
what gives
yeah.
God so that doesn't explain why God has the authority. You're not explaining
Well,
that.
can I answer that or
Yeah.
respond to that point?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have broken a country's law, it would be just for them to enact their punishment for breaking that law.
If you've never been there,
No, if you've never been there, you haven't broken their law.
yeah, you have
That's the
well,
issue.
technically if they have a law and you've broken it but you just don't live there, they can say, "Well, Hospital Sushi, you broke our law." Cuz like
Well,
for
their laws
example,
are for their country, not for the world.
right, but I'm asking you what gives so it's for their country. It's their borders that give anything
Right.
inside
So
their borders gives them the authority. It's not the guilt. It's the
yeah,
borders.
the authority to justly enact punishment
Right.
for breaking their
So
law.
what
Yeah.
gives God the authority? It's not
Well, I
just the
guess
guilt. It's
Well, I
not the
guess
guilt at all.
if you're just trying to have an analogy based on what you've given me, it would be the fact that all of creation is God's borders.
All of creation is God's
I mean,
borders. Okay.
yeah.
And why does that matter?
Well, because you're making a big deal about borders allowing someone to enact punishment on you.
Well,
Well,
no.
you're
This all of
within God's
creation thing. What
borders.
gives God the right to judge somebody just because he created them?
He's not judging them just because he created them. He's judging them because they've sinned before him and they're guilty
But
before
why
him.
does that matter? Who cares if you've sinned before God? Who gives a fuck?
God does.
And
God does.
but why does that matter? If God care, why should I care about that?
You personally?
Yeah, why should I give a fuck if God thinks I've sinned?
You might not, but
And by the way, I don't sin before God. I haven't sinned before God because I don't have a covenant with God. So that only applies to Christians, right? Those who have taken the covenant with God. That doesn't apply to me. So, but again, why
I would
should
disagree
anyone?
with that.
No, totally.
That's a whole nother
Yeah,
conversation.
it's a
which
bit
I'm
of a
happy to talk
conversation,
about,
but well, you'll have to demonstrate that I have a covenant with God.
well,
So
I don't think you have to have a covenant to break God's
you
law.
don't think so? Well, what is sin?
No, transgressing God's law.
Transgressing God's law, right?
Yeah,
Right.
covenant's just it's a
And what
promise,
makes
it's
you
an
think I
agreement.
am subject to God's law?
He created you, and he's the
And
authority
why
over
does that
you
matter? Why does that matter? Who
because he
cares?
has the
So what?
authority over you because he's created you. Well, you don't
So
care. I
what?
know.
No. So what? It's just because he created you, but so what? Who cares? Why does that matter? What?
because
Who cares if he created you?
I believe because he created you, he has
Okay.
authority over you. He can.
So your parents birthed you, right? Do you live with your parents now?
No, I'm an adult now, but
You're an adult
before I
now.
was 18, they did have authority over me.
Yeah, they
Yes,
had it, but before you were 18, but they did birth you, but
correct. My
that's
mother did.
but they
Yeah,
don't they don't have lifetime authority over you, right? It's only until you're
correct.
18.
That's
So
correct.
they have temporary authority. So why is God's authority eternal?
Because God Himself is eternal, and these are human laws that we have made up for
I
ourselves.
I don't see why that matters that he's eternal. Why does that matter?
Because, well, so you're just trying to say if humans put a time limit on parents having authority over their
No,
children, why
I'm
wouldn't
asking
it
you for
apply
the
to God?
reason why. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm asking you why. If God's eternal, who cares? Who cares, why does that demonstrate that A, his laws are subject, I'm subject to his laws, and B, the laws are eternal. Why does that matter?
I just think that because God is the creator of everything, He has authority over everything.
But why?
The
Why does
same
that
reason why the same reason if I was a painter and I had a paintbrush and paint, I get to do with that paint whatever
That's
I
an
want
inanimate
because
object. I'm a person. I'm a being. So why does
well
God
yeah
have authority?
you're a
Yeah,
creation.
I'm not a piece of property. I'm not a thing. I'm not an inanimate object. So yeah, you have you have authority over that as a painter. You can do whatever you want with your painting because it's inanimate. It doesn't have feelings, it doesn't have life, all that stuff. Of course. But I'm a life. So that's a category error. You can't compare people to paintings and clay and all that shit. What
Yeah,
I'm
you're
asking,
just trying to yeah, you're trying to assign like inherent rights over your own life because you
yeah,
have sentience,
I
which is
have
you
inherent
have no
rights over
foundation
my
for
own
that.
life. Yeah, I do. I have inherent rights over
Not
my
when it comes
life.
to God. No, no, I
Okay.
disagree.
And
Not when it
okay,
comes to
well, you
God.
can disagree, but you have to provide evidence of that because
I
every
do.
law that we have demonstrates that we have inherent rights over our lives. That's how we treat people. And so, but you're saying, but it's
Subjective
different
laws
for,
that we create are
but
not
you're
inherent.
saying it's different for God. And I'm trying to understand why it's different. And you're just saying, well, because he's creator. And so what? Why does that matter? It doesn't matter unless you
It
can give me a
absolutely
reason
matters
why it matters.
because well, you're trying to use your sentience, your life as a human being to be a good reason why.
I'm not sure how that answers my question. How does that
Okay,
answer
sorry.
my
Ask your
question?
question again.
My question,
I thought
yeah,
there were a couple questions.
yeah. My question is, why does it matter that he's a creator?
Because that gives him authority.
Okay, but that's a circular argument. You're saying because you
No, I
said
think
he
you have
has.
authority over
Well,
your
no,
creation.
you said it like this. You said earlier he has authority because he's the creator, and I said, why does it matter the creator? Because it gives him authority. That's a circular argument. So he has authority because he's a creator, but he's a creator because he has authority. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean it seems circular, but
It is
I don't really
circular.
have a problem with it.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
I
circular.
mean yeah, it's circular. That's fine.
Okay, but
God has authority over all humans because He created all humans.
okay, and again, what? So because he created all humans, he has authority. But that
Correct.
doesn't
Over those
explain.
humans.
But that doesn't explain why he has authority. Nor does it
I
explain
gave you the
why.
analogy of if you have paint and you're the painter, you have
Yeah,
authority over what to do with that paint.
but that's an incorrect analogy because those are inanimate objects. So we're not
Well, you're
inanimate
assigning.
objects.
What's
So are
my
you
point? Is
saying
you're
that
trying to.
you're saying we have the same value as paint and a painting?
Nope. Nope. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying you're trying to assign um, some like inherent right because you're
Yeah,
sentient.
yeah. Because
But
paint
what's
isn't
ironic is
sentient,
God
so you
gave you it,
can't compare us to paint
and you
and
then you
paintings.
wouldn't be either without God. You wouldn't be either without God giving you
Okay, but that's an
sentience.
assumption.
That's the irony.
You haven't demonstrated that.
Well, yeah. So
I
now
mean,
the question is
we
just
haven't even
prove that
gotten
God
to the
exists.
Bible being true. You haven't shown any of that. So there's no reason for me to believe that.
Well,
You're just saying it. You're just
yeah,
stating it as fact, and you haven't even demonstrated it.
It is. It is. Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
but
there's
what's your
nothing I
evidence
can
of
tell
that?
you to. There's nothing I can tell you to make you believe that God exists and the
Well, no,
Bible's
you can
true.
give me evidence of it being true. That's how you can convince me. What's your evidence that that's true?
Well, I started off by telling you that objective morals exist.
Okay. And so, yes,
That is
I
my
agree.
evidence.
Objective morals exist. I don't think you have them. I don't think you have objective morals. And you even said I'm a compatibilist. So you even admitted that. And that's kind
Wait,
of
you
how
think
we
they
drifted
exist,
away.
but I don't have them?
Yeah, you just said you're a compatibilist. That's not objective morals.
Wow, compatibilism has nothing to do with objective morality.
It kind of does
No,
because
it doesn't. That has to do with determinism and free will.
right.
Morals
But
or
okay,
immoral
so
actions are a result of what you
objective
do.
morality. All right. Well, we're at about 10 seconds. Um so let's start the kick poll, but we can kind of continue on while it rolls. Um but yeah, we're kind of going in circles because of the circular arguments. And I guess if they decide to keep you, we can test this objective morality that you claim that you have, or that God has, maybe. I don't know. Not sure.
Can I clarify that or my stance on it?
Sure.
I would be totally fine with you saying that morals given to us by God were subjective. Like, I don't really have an interest in arguing that. Sure, if they
Okay, so
come
there's
from
no
God's
more.
mind.
Then you don't believe in
Hold
objective
on.
morality.
Well, I didn't
It's
get to
just
finish. I
okay.
didn't get to finish, bro. I was halfway through.
All right.
So yeah, you can call them what God did or the way he gave them subjective because they're based on his mind. But he
Mhm.
gave them to us and we're bound by them objectively.
We're
So
bound by
God
them
gave
objectively.
us, yeah, right. You can say it's quote subjective because it's from his mind, but we objectively are bound by them.
How?
Because
Is this
anytime you commit murder, it's wrong. That's
okay?
how.
Well, yeah, I agree with that, but that's not because God gave them to us.
Oh, it absolutely is, because if God wouldn't have given them to us, you and I agree, the space dust doesn't care if you murder someone.
Of course.
And it's not objective. So your
It
objective
is
moral realism falls apart because you have no foundation for it.
no. I do. I told you what my foundation is.
Well, you said the laws of logic, and we didn't
Yep.
really get into it, but even that's do you think logic requires a mind?
Logic itself is subjective. The laws of logic
well,
are
then-
objective and foundational. So are you
Yeah, but
telling
we
me
don't
that
even know
there's
what-
okay, but you're telling me that the law of identity is subjective?
The fact that it requires a mind to understand or comprehend, yeah, it is subjective.
No.
By definition.
Are you okay?
It is
So
mind
does one
dependent.
equal one?
Yes.
Okay.
And that
Does
required
one
my mind to answer that.
will one stop equaling one when all minds cease to exist?
Yeah, technically.
How?
Because it's just because we have just created the number one, the word one, how we write one with our minds. It's
Mhm.
just subjective. We created that with our
Okay.
minds.
So a single
Before
cell
humans
organism,
exist-
how many cells in a single cell organism?
We would call it one because we subjectively came up with the definition of one with our minds.
Okay. Well, what else would it be then
We
if
would-
there were no minds to comprehend that? What would it be then?
It would be nothing.
So a single cell organism would be nothing if there were no minds to comprehend it?
Regarding the laws of logic, yeah,
Are
it
you
would be
kidding
nothing.
me?
Laws of logic, would laws of logic exist
So-
if there were no minds?
A single celled organism would cease to exist if there were no minds
Nope.
to comprehend it.
No,
You
that's
just
not
said
what
it
I'm
would be
saying.
nothing. Okay, but
The fact
that's
that it's
what
a
nothing is.
single-cell
It ceases
organism
to
would cease
exist.
to exist. There would still be matter. It
would
wouldn't
still
be
be-
considered
yeah.
it wouldn't be considered a single cell organism. It wouldn't even
Okay.
really be considered matter because that's a word
so
too.
how many cells in a single celled organism if there are no minds to comprehend it? How many cells?
That it would require a word for me to answer, and that wouldn't exist without our mind. So it's not even a good question.
It's a fantastic question. I mean, you have to use the lexicon that we have. I agree with that. But
Yeah, and if
Okay.
there's no minds, there's no lexicon.
all right. Okay.
So there's nothing.
Okay. So they voted to move on, but hey, I appreciate you coming up. So have
All
a
right.
good day.
Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Good talk. All right. So category errors, circular arguments. What else am I missing there? Let's bring up Livia. Maybe Livia can add some perspective on this.
Hi, friend.
Hi,
Yeah.
friend.
Oh, happy to clear that up. What the sort of layer that the guest is referring to is just the reference,
Yeah,
ending TS, and the object that the referent refers to exists whether or not there's a mind to understand the referent.
exactly.
So
Right. The object still exists. So if there's a single-celled organism, that's the object, right? And it's always going to be a single-celled organism, even if we don't have words to describe it.
exactly.
Yeah, it could be a Buble organism. Buble could mean single-celled or single. A Buble cell
Did you just
organism.
name the first single cell organism?
After Michael
Is that what just
Bublé,
happened? Is
I
that
might
its
have.
like scientific name now?
After Michael Bublé, yes.
The
Here, I'll change it up a little bit. I'll add some culture. Yeah.
Verifificus.
Verifificus. Yeah, I'll change it up. I'll change it to ASAP Rocky. There we go. I was just watching a recording of Saturday Night Live, and ASAP Rocky was on there. So that'll be what one is if there's no all minds cease to exist. One will just be ASAP Rocky. Yeah.
Works for me. I love it.
Oh man. Yeah. I badly wanted to get into the Bible, but I didn't. I couldn't. I didn't quite get there because it was just lots of I couldn't put the category error away. I couldn't get away from it. All right. Well, do you want to stick around for the next guests?
Sure. I'm going to mute up, but I'm here if something relevant to me comes up.
Yeah, if something intriguing hits, just jump in. Yeah. All right. Let's bring up the next guest. Oh, wait, before we do that, see, I almost forgot. And I have to say it was partially because of the I don't know. I just fucking forgot. I'm old. Hi, Amber.
Hi. For the work I do in this live,
I
for you
know.
to just forget.
It's dementia. That's what it is. It's just dementia. It says nothing personal at all.
That is so okay. I've never been upset whenever you haven't brought me up. I'm not like, that damn trust didn't have me up. I couldn't give my announcements. Damn, fuck. But anyway, hello everyone, and welcome to Trust with Verified Live. We are so happy you're here. We have 182 people in here. Thank you so much for sticking around, you guys, and for being here with us. I know that there was some trouble over on the YouTube side for a while. The YouTube chat is down. I think it's a problem with or YTube, whatever. I think it's a problem with YTube itself, but people's chats weren't going through.
Oh, I see. Okay. Let me see if I can fix that.
So yeah, so just a heads up about that. And then if there's any Y2 people that can hear us, come on over to TikTok if you're not able to chat over there. We have 17.2K likes. If we could really quickly get up to 25K, I know that we can do it with this many people in here. And then we'll do our usual 50, 75, 100 milestones, which would be amazing. We have 36 shares. If y'all could continue sharing the live, keep tapping the screen, long press the screen to repost and share it more easily. And then we have, let's see, you can join the team on here, like the fan club. You can join on YTube, on the Purple app. You can do all of that. And there's different, if you want to support Trust consistently, just look at that, different memberships and all of that. You can also engage with the live in a few different ways. So totally free, tapping, sharing, reposting, all of that. If you want everybody to be able to vote on whether the guest stays or goes, then we can Beav, stop using caps in the chat and stop preaching. You've been asked this before. But if you want us to be able to vote on whether the guest stays or goes before the 30-minute timer is up, you can fill the live goal, which is 25 Lenham Cooks right now. And you can do that with a super chat on the YTube side as well. And then if you just want to be able to get rid of the guest, you can send a jellyfish for that. We have a Discord. We ask that you engage in good faith if you are coming in there to hang out, but we really do love the community that we're building, and we are really trying to do the best we can. We are human after all, but we really want it to be a good community full of good people. So, and we think that we're fostering that. So, if you want to join the Discord, go to the link in Trust bio and brain words, you're going to have to copy and paste the link into your browser in order for it to work. If it doesn't work, just let one of us mods know and we'll be happy to help. But yeah, we'd really love to see all of you in there. It's open to anyone who wants to join, as long as you're 18 and older and willing to be genuine and follow the rules. And then last but not least, no spamming, no caps lock, no preaching, and no praying for people without consent. We want to keep it a good chat in here for people to be to feel comfortable in here. Beav, I told you again, no preaching. And yeah, that is that. But I think I got everything. Yes.
Okay.
I think I got everything. Also, hi, Livia. But yes, thank you everyone for being here, and welcome to Trust But Verifies Live.
Yay! Thank you, Ember. Appreciate you, friend.
Absolutely. I will drop down
Right on.
before I get
W's
awkward.
and yeah, before it gets awkward. Exactly. Oh, you're trying to escape. Yep. They ran. I get it. I kind of like doing that because, you know, I love them and they do a great job. So, all right. So we have somebody who's in the YouTube queue. It looks like the YouTube chat is down. So I'm probably gonna restart the YouTube live, and we have another friend up, Dark Knight. So how you doing, man? Hey, what's up? Glad you coming to hang out?
Yeah. If I'm allowed to, of course.
Word. Okay. For real. All right. Everybody, please follow Dark Knight and Livia. Great couple of content creators, Dark Knight especially. You know, really a big fan of your stuff. So I'm glad you came up to hang out, man. I'm really glad to hear that, to see that. All right. So we do have somebody on the YouTube side. Did they? Oh, looks like they dropped. Okay. So no longer do we. So we'll go back to the TikTok side, and I'm going to take this opportunity to restart the YouTube live. So it looks like it's locked up or something, but I don't know what's going on, but we'll just end the stream and we'll restart it. So Katie Dotson, I do see yours, but I don't think everybody else does. I see you, Katie Dotson, but I'm just going to restart the TikTok live. So the 34 people that are in there, just hang tight and come back in about 1 or 2 minutes. All right. And so I'm going to start it. I'm going to restart things right now. Okay. So hang. All right. Let's see if that fixes things. Okay, I think we're back. Oh, I don't think we lost any viewers. You guys are still all here. Okay. So let's see if that works. Somebody type in chat. I may have to may have to stop it for a few minutes and then restart it. But okay, well, we'll go to the next guest. And hopefully we can get that worked out. All right, let's bring up the next guest. Okay, looks like we got some chat action there. All right, how's it going?
Oh, how you doing?
Good.
I appreciate you. I listened to the last conversation you just had. No, me as a theist, I've never agreed with an atheist more on the logic side of that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Most do.
So,
This
um,
person, I think they were just
I kind of had a good
disagreeing just to
syllogism for you.
disagreeing. Yeah. Here, let me pull up
sorry, you there?
my Blackboard, and then we can all take. I'll just type it out while you do that. Okay. So, all right, I'm ready for you.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can everybody else hear me? Okay. I think your sound went away, guest.
Sorry, there.
Yeah, I'm here. Do you hear? Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Is it freezing? Here, let me try
I can hear you
this.
just fine.
You can hear me? Okay, so Dark Knight and Livia can hear me. Looks like the guest is having problems though. And I haven't touched anything, so shouldn't be an issue. Eric, how about this? Hope you're looking at chat. Just rejoin and here, leave and rejoin guest. So guest, leave and rejoin, and we'll see if we can get you back up. Okay. So I'm gonna disconnect you, guest, and then try to come back. All right. So hopefully he gets the message. So we're having a bit of tech issues today. I don't know what the deal is. Okay. So looks like YouTube can't see me. So YouTube, I'm gonna stop the live again, and I'm gonna wait a few minutes so that it clears out, so it completely stops, and then I'm gonna restart it. Okay, so you guys will all get kicked out. I only let it go for a few seconds, but I'm gonna entirely kill it and then bring it back. All right. So not sure what's going on there, but while we do that, okay, I think he understood. Good. All right. Let's see. Let's try round 2. Let's see if this works this time. All right, guest, are you there?
Yes, I am. I appreciate it. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No worries. Okay. I think okay, you can hear me and I can hear you. So that's good.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so like you said, it was just a it was kind of strange, that first conversation. But you said you have a syllogism for us, but just for TikTok purposes, just want to make sure you're over 18.
Oh, 45.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Let me bring up my Blackboard, and Dark Knight and Livia, I think I'm going to delegate this to you for a few minutes so I can deal with the YouTube issue. But here, I'll type out the syllogism real quick. Okay, I'm ready for you, guest. Go ahead.
All right, here we go. And I would like to pretty much just rely on rational inference for this one. Basically, as of right now, I can conclude that life has only come from life, has been tested and repeated, and intelligence has only come from intelligence. And because there is life and intelligence, I can conclude that I come from an intelligent living thing. Now, I'm not putting my foot forward for any particular religion in this. I'm just saying that I believe whatever this thing is definitely an intelligent mind behind the universe. And from other aspects we could get into later, perhaps, maybe. But the aspect is I am a Christian, but I would like to say that from the very least, I can know that I come from a living intelligent source.
Okay. And so it sounds like so there's an intelligent mind behind the universe is your conclusion? So it looks like there's 3 premises and a conclusion? We still having sound issues?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Folks, everybody, you guys can hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. I think we're still, World Defier, I think we're still having like sound problems. I don't know. Maybe switch to a different headset, or maybe a different Bluetooth, or take off your Bluetooth, put on your Bluetooth, because everybody can hear me.
Okay.
All right.
I can actually hear you real good now. Yeah.
Okay, you can hear me good. Okay. But we do have to take a pause because we do have a law that we do have to follow. So we're gonna So we'll pause your time. I didn't even set the time yet, but but Hammy is here. And when Hammy comes into the live, we all know what that means, chat. Hammy has to do his thing. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta set the music. Give me just a second. Jeez. I get thrown off with this. Okay, it's under bookmarks. Where's the bookmark? Oh, damn it. Okay. All right. There we go. Stat voted on it, man. All right. Hammy. The great Hammy is here.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
I do have something now I just got pulled up to read for y'all.
Fantastic.
And it is Remember, remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason, and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Guy Fawkes, 'twas his intent to blow up the king and the parliament. 70 barrels of powder below, poor old England to overthrow. By God's providence he was catched with a dark lantern and burning match. Holler boys, let the bells ring. Holler boys, God save the king.
Thank you. Okay, we have upheld the law. So just in case you're new to this live, the chat a while ago, we had a referendum and they voted overwhelming in favor of the referendum, which is that anytime Hammy comes into the live, Hammy must read something. And so we're just following the law. That's all we're doing. Oh, and there's entrance of royal music as well. Yeah.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And this all started from reading The Raven
It was
on Halloween.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It all started reading the Raven on Halloween, and everybody said, you know what? We want that permanently. So that's why we're here. So thank you, Hammy. And of course, you're welcome to stay. All right. And World Defier, we will absolutely not gang up on you. We will have good discourse as much as possible. All right. So, okay. So my question to you was, I just wanted to be sure I labeled P4 here, but that sounds like that's your conclusion, that there is an intelligent mind behind the universe. So I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, that's the conclusion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to confirm that. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues here, just so I can deal with the YouTube issue. But you're in good hands. I assure you. Probably better hands than you would be with me.
They're not point out something really, what we need to clarify. Premise 1, it says, is that supposed to be life comes from life?
Yes, as of rationally, yes. Life only comes from life.
Yeah.
Rationally.
Oops. Sorry. Thank you for that. Life only comes from life. Yeah. And then intelligence only from intelligence, right?
Yep.
And then I come from an intelligent living thing. So therefore,
I am amongst intelligent and living things. I know intelligent living things exist. Therefore, I'm an intelligent living thing. I know I come from an intelligent living thing. I don't know how you want to word that.
In P3, you're just saying intelligent things exist, right?
Yeah, intelligent living things
amongst them.
exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, me amongst them. Yeah.
Okay. How about this? I'm amongst intelligent things that exist. How about that?
That works.
Okay. And then therefore there is an intelligent mind behind the universe. Okay. You got it?
Yeah, there you go.
Is that good?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure it's there. Okay. All right, guys, go ahead and take over. I'm going to go ahead and discuss. I'm going to fix the YouTube problem now.
Yeah.
Hey,
One of the
world.
biggest. What was that, Livy?
Oh, I was. No, you go ahead. It's fine.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was trying to jump the gun. You go ahead.
World, before we start with this, can I ask how familiar you are with formal logic?
Define formal logic for me. If you could go through that for me, please.
Okay, I was only asking just to gauge what kind of language to use, because I don't want to be super technical if you're not familiar and you're not, and that's okay. I just didn't
No,
want to
we
say a bunch of stuff that would be nonsense to you. That's all.
no,
Um,
we talk nonchalantly, or if you use a big word, if I don't know it, I'm going to ask, and I would ask knowingly. I'm not going to act like I know what it is if I didn't know.
okay, all good, all good.
I'm not going to be pedantic. There's a word for you.
Yeah. So there are two things that strike me off the bat with this.
hmm
The first is that, although I know you'll disagree, but the conclusion doesn't follow directly from the premises. If the premises are true, the conclusion is not necessarily true. But I also have a disagreement with people